Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. A deal that could have ended the first ever LCBO strike in history remains in question tonight. Standing in the way, a back-to-work protocol that the union says the LCBO is refusing to sign. The Crown Corporation, meanwhile, accusing OPSEU of bargaining in bad faith. Tonight, both sides remain in talks, trying to work out conditions so that thousands of workers can return to their jobs. Nama Weingarten takes us through a day of tense back and forth.
It was a day filled with accusations between the LCBO and the union representing its workers, with a tentative agreement to end a 2-week strike hanging in the balance. It began with news that a deal had been reached, then word that it's been put on hold. OPSEU saying it's because the LCBO is refusing to sign a return-to-work protocol.
How do the employees get their keys back? Who is supposed to return to work and where on which days? What are the protocols to return to work safely? These are all part of an exchange that occurs between employees and an employer in order to settle a strike.
The LCBO, meanwhile, said it expects to file an unfair labor practice complaint against the union, claiming it introduced a new set of monetary demands that should have been dealt with at the bargaining table. Here's what the union had to say about that.
As this team will attest, and as we have said from the get-go, this is not about the money. This has never been about the money.
Then, late this evening, the LCBO released details of the signed tentative agreement, the one that currently hangs in limbo. It says that employees will get an 8% raise over the course of 3 years, and 1,000 casual employees will be converted to become permanent part-time. That's up from the 400 employees that the LCBO initially offered. The collective agreement also says that no retail stores will close as a result of the Ford government's decision to expand alcohol sales. But that will only be for the duration of this collective agreement. In a statement tonight, the union confirmed that negotiations on the return-to-work protocol are still ongoing. They say it seems a deal is close at hand, leaving it unclear whether roughly 9,000 striking workers will be able to return to their jobs on Monday. Nama Weingarten, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto is grappling with the effects of a worldwide IT issue. The outage linked to a CrowdStrike cybersecurity software update that's affecting many aspects of life, from banks to hospitals and airlines. Chris Glover has more.
We apologize for this inconvenience and thank you for your patience.
How many times have you heard that announcement?
Like 15, 20 times now. They do it like every 10 minutes. Yeah.
Grish Garg hoping to fly to New York, stuck at Billy Bishop Airport for hours. Porter Airlines forced to cancel all flights through most of the day.
And how you feeling about that wait?
Pretty tired. I had to wake up at like 4 a.m. I had to come here because it's like an hour and a half drive to the airport. Yeah, and I gotta wait till 12, and then it might not even be scheduled for today.
Porter's entire booking system was down after a catastrophic worldwide tech meltdown shuttered countless companies.
It's crazy because like just a small thing, like a small part of Microsoft went down, and how like it's affecting the whole world.
It wasn't a cyber attack, it was related to this content update.
CrowdStrike's CEO says its own tech update caused a Microsoft operating system, which many companies rely on behind the scenes, to crash in a massively public way.
We fixed it on our end, and some of the systems that aren't recovering, we're working with them. So it could be some time for some systems that just automatically won't recover. But it is our mission, is why we're here, to make sure that every customer is fully recovered.
The ripple effect of the global IT issue was dramatic. Some banks were affected, and payment apps for major companies like Starbucks were too. In Toronto, even revenue services, payment counters, and recreation booking systems were temporarily knocked offline. Luckily, emergency services like 911 were operational throughout, but many hospitals, including Toronto General, dealt with delays and tech issues.
They're telling me the system is down because there's a system all over the world, apparently, and they can't make any kind of transactions.
They did tell us that there's an outage, and there might be a little bit of time, but I was surprised. My surprise, we went through pretty fast.
Back at Billy Bishop, while Porter restarted operations by late afternoon, many other airlines were either not affected or came back online sooner. As a result, many people left the downtown airport to find other ways to get to their destination.
We would really like to make it to New York, and I have a family that I'd like to see. I haven't seen them for decades, and it's disappointing. I can't seem to be mobile, so we're trying to figure out alternative ways of getting there. My wife wants to take the train. I go, not the train, 12 hours. Oh, it'll be wonderful. It'll be just a beautiful view. Yeah, exactly. So romantic after 40 years of marriage.
Bobby Ummer was supposed to fly to New Brunswick to collect his daughter from a summer program that just ended, but his morning flight was canceled.
Now she's 13, she's stranded, and I'm freaking out.
Of course you are.
Like, how the heck do I get there? What am I going to do?
In the end, he booked a flare flight out of Pearson and expects to make it to her on time. But even at the region's biggest airport with multiple carriers operating, people got the runaround.
What happened here at the airport was we waited in this line for Air Canada, then we had to go to United Airlines, wait in that line, then they sent us back to United Airlines, then they sent us to the white phone over there.
Rick Wellen is exhausted.
Because of this global tech issue, our flight was delayed, which meant we significantly delayed, which meant we missed our connector, and now we had to be rescheduled for a flight 12 hours later.
The difficulties of the day forcing many to think about the future.
What do you think of all this and the fact that this is an outage has completely crippled an airport and so many other parts of our city?
Welcome to the 21st century. Welcome to this. This is, to me, this is just the beginning of what we can expect.
Many now worrying whether this disastrous day could become more frequent. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto Public Health is looking for a person who brought a bat to an animal hospital this week, saying the animal was found to have rabies. In a news release, TPH says the bat was dropped off at the VCAQ Beach Animal Hospital on Tuesday at about 6 p.m. Now, rabies is a viral infection which affects the nervous system of mammals and is spread through the saliva of an infected animal. If left untreated before symptoms appear, rabies is fatal. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow wants city staff to come up with solutions to better prepare the city for flooding during significant storms like the one we experienced on Tuesday. That includes looking into large infrastructure programs and ways for homeowners to better protect their properties. Dale Manukduk has more.
Tuesday's rainstorm left its mark on Toronto. The beach still bruised, evergreen brickworks battered. Almost 100 millimeters of rain in just a few hours, creating commuter chaos, flooding out the Don Valley Parkway and the basements of people across the city. In response, Mayor Olivia Chow now wants city staff to come up with ways to help homeowners and businesses. Councillor Jennifer McKelvey, who chairs the Infrastructure and Environment Committee, seconded the mayor's motion to look for solutions.
I prefer to do incentive bases than penalties. And so I think it would be great if we can help people to install permeable pavers, if we can help them to install French drains, things on their property, rain gardens, things that will capture and hold water so it's not flowing off the property into the streams and causing flooding.
The city already has a subsidy program that helps people protect their homes from basement flooding. It helps pay for the installation of backwater valves and sump pumps.
You can see savings instantly on your insurance premiums, and probably I'd say within the course of a year or two, you could have it potentially paid off depending on what sort of device you're getting to protect your home.
Toronto also offers free front yard trees and subsidized backyard trees. This climate adaptation specialist says the city should promote no-cost and low-cost measures.
Twice a year, clean out your eave straws, for example. Make sure that there are no leaves on the drains. These are things that we forget to do, and they can really back up that water when it does start to come down. And then for less money, what residents can do is extend their downspout, for example, or even have a downspout.
The mayor's motion also asked staff to revisit discontinued programs like the low-cost rain barrels the city used to offer. The reducing runoff and mitigating flooding motion goes before council next week and asks staff to come up with recommendations by the end of the year. Dale Manukduk, CBC News.
Welcome back. Expect to hear the roar on the lakeshore in the city this weekend. The Honda Indy is back in town, taking over Exhibition Place for 3 days. Today was the popular Fan Friday, which is free of charge for anybody who wants to come and watch some racing and grab a few autographs. Our Greg Ross has more from day one of Indy weekend.
It's loud, it's fast, and for at least one day, it's free.
There's not many things you can do for free these days, so coming to the Honda Indy is a great day for the family. There's lots to see, lots to do for the kids.
The doors were open to the public today to come and watch Indy cars live and in person. Fans were only encouraged to make a small donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This young racing enthusiast taking full advantage of his day at the track.
I just like watching them and having fun. My favorite racer would be Kyle Kirkwood for Andretti.
Organizers are encouraging fans who want to come and see racing this weekend to consider using public transportation. As an incentive, anybody with a Presto Pass on Friday was granted free access into the paddocks area where drivers store their cars and set up their trailers. A perfect opportunity for this man who took the GO train from Niagara.
I came in and I looked around and saw cars, saw drivers, saw team executives.
He was able to avoid any potential traffic, which has been pretty bad this week, with the lakeshore closed down for this race, as well as lane reductions on the Gardner and closures on King Street. Canadian driver Matt Clark learned that firsthand.
We were stuck on the DVP yesterday, getting to the press conference. We were a little bit late, but I mean, the traffic in the city's been crazy. So there's an Airbnb that I got locked up about 2 blocks away, and I walked it this morning, about a 9-10 minute walk.
Clark is no stranger to Toronto traffic. This is his hometown. He'll be competing in the USF Pro 2000 race this weekend. He says winning here would be a dream come true.
Indianapolis, Indy 500, that's really cool. That's, the race that everyone wants to win. But for me, winning Toronto is right there. It would be a super cool milestone and probably the biggest of my career.
Clark was on the track today for a practice run. He had a couple of qualifying runs today as well. I talked to him earlier, and he told me that he felt pretty good out there. There are no Canadians that will be competing in the main race, the big IndyCar Series race this weekend. Drivers for that race had a practice run today, and qualifying for that race goes tomorrow. The big race happens on Sunday, Kelda.
Exciting weekend. Thanks so much, Greg. We are just 1 week away from the opening of the Summer Olympics, and Team Canada was announced earlier this week with 338 athletes heading to Paris. That includes members of the Canadian men's basketball team. Expectations for the team are sky high, especially since it features a lot of talent from the NBA. Our Dwight Drummond spoke with some of the members of the team to get to know them a little better off the court. Here he is with Aurora's Andrew Nemhard and Montreal's Lou Dort.
You're home now. What's one of the favorite things to do when you come home to Canada or your home? What are some of the things you like to do when you come back?
Favorite things? I like going to Tim Hortons.
What do you get?
I get an iced cap, chocolate glazed donut, cinnamon raisin bagel.
There you go.
But,
true Canadian. you know your Timmies, man.
Last 7 games, 46% from 3, and he has the last 7 for his Pacers.
And he's doing a heck of a job leading the team tonight.
First of all, thank you for doing this, man. Congrats. I can't believe, from Florida to Gonzaga to Indiana, you're just having a great career so far, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How proud of a moment is this for you to have this opportunity to possibly represent Canada at the Olympics?
Man, it's exciting. I've been playing all growing up from the junior academy all the way, so it's been a long time coming. Every time we were talking about it, we always wanted this to be our goal. So it's exciting. We got this group, and we got a good chance to kind of even do something at the Olympics, not just get there, but do something.
You talk about coming up. Talk about the role that community played and the youth programs you played for. Talk about your journey in Canada to get to this point to our Olympic team.
Yeah, my journey started in Aurora. It's not a big
shout out Aurora, Ontario.
Yeah, got to shout out Aurora. But my pops kind of always coached me growing up, and he brought me out to the city, play with some better players and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just kind of always loved the game, and as I got older, I took it more serious, and my pops kind of started that for me.
Yeah. And Claude Nambard was a pretty good player, and he now runs the Ontario Basketball Association. So he's still developing young players like yourself.
Yes. He's always he's into the service of hoops for sure.
Here comes Rowan Barrett. Career high gets even higher.
Rowan, how does it feel to have this many great players ready to rep the Maple Leaf this summer?
It feels good. I think it's kind of an evaluation of the work that we've been doing over the past decade. We started with junior academies in 7th and 8th grade, the 11, 12-year-olds identifying, and yes, you can identify basketball players at that age. And to watch these athletes that have put so much time into this, all of our investments into the youth ages, U16, U17, U18, 19, and it's like I look at this team of players, this roster of guys in camp, and I remember, I'm like, oh, I remember you when you were 15, I remember you when you were 12, I remember you when you were this age.
We've seen on full display the offensive skill set of Andrew Nembhard.
You are that player that Rowan talks about that he saw when you were young, and you came up and developed with it. How great would it be to go through the system, to be in Team Canada, all the way to the senior men's team, and to come home with that Olympic medal around?
It would be exciting.
Because you put in the time from you were like, what, 13, 14 years old, representing Canada all around the world.
It would be a surreal experience for sure. I think you never kind of predict these things, and it would be crazy to kind of just be there at that moment and see it happen. But I think it's a real possibility for sure.
Puts the foul. He's just so powerful.
How proud of a moment this must be for you to have this opportunity to represent your country, Canada, at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's huge. It's an honor, really. Just all the work that Canada basketball has been doing to get to that point, and I'm just honored to be in that group of guys that made it happen. So we're really excited for that journey.
For a lot of us, our parents came to Canada to seek a better life, and now you guys are getting to pay back Canada by representing the country at the Olympics. How is that kind of pride to say that, my parents came here, we came here searching, now I actually get to pay back what my parents did?
This country gave my family and my people a better life, and the best way I can give back to them is just really to go represent them at the highest level. And I had a great living growing up. I've met some good people, and I'm always proud to say that was born in Canada. So, it's going to be amazing to go out there and represent them.
What's your favorite thing to do in your hometown? Because I know you rep Montreal hard, man. Montreal, is it Montreal Nord? How do you say it?
Well, I grew up in Montreal Nord, but
there you go.
Yeah. But my favorite thing to do out there is there's a lot of stuff to do. I mean, my first thing is always to be my family. That's why I go back all the time. Yeah, all my family's there, so. That's one.
Do you get some of that Creole, some of that Haitian food?
I always get my Creole, I always get my Haitian food, but that's a must whenever I go back. But, I would say what I love the most is really go back to my roots and, where I grew up and see the people that was there when I was young and all that.
Nembhard. Wow. Step back, distance.
What do you think about the odds makers putting this squad at number 2? You guys are just behind the U.S. You probably have the second most NBA players on this team.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it makes sense in terms of our talent level. I think we're right there. We got the second most players in the league right now. So we got the talent for sure. I think it's all about the continuity and how we can embrace our roles and sacrifice for each other in order to get wins.
How important would this be for your family to be able to achieve something like this for Canada? Especially your dad, like me, is a Jamaican, we have a West Indian background. You come to this country, Canada's been good to you, have a great life, you raise a great family, but now your kid gets to give back a medal.
Yeah, I mean, my family's just grateful for it all. I mean, they don't expect things like this. This is it's a great experience. They're just, I mean, they've never been to Europe before, so this is exciting just to go to Paris and experience that, have fun out there. So it'll be a blessing to get a medal out there for sure.
Congratulations on this team, and man, we can't wait to cheer for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Colette, a big weekend in the city. Of course, we got the Honda Indy, and things looking pretty good.
Yeah, they are really looking good. We have sometimes I have to stand up here, and we've got a weekend coming up, and it's not a good forecast. that's not one of these times. We've got some good stuff coming our way. And I'm going to start off with Sunday, 1:30 race time for the Indy. And you're going to see that I've got a little sprinkle here on my icon. But essentially, there it is. It's a really slim chance for what would be an isolated shower. I think we're going to stay dry in the GTA. Might be a little more of a chance into southwestern Ontario, but even there, they'll be highly isolated. That's not necessarily the daytime high, close to it though, but the temperature at 1:30. And at this point, the winds, well, they may pick up a tiny bit as the cold front's coming in, but even that, it's not going to be all that strong, and it's certainly not going to be moisture laden, this front that's moving in for Sunday. A look back at today's highs, and yeah, we're talking about readings a few degrees below seasonal, and same thing, in fact, about 4 degrees below seasonal with the lows from last night, whereas tonight we'll get back a little bit milder with those overnight temperatures, but still really comfortable in what we'll be experiencing. That ridge of high pressure holds strong, so just a very few fair weather clouds until we get to Sunday. And right now, the timing is that this could come through more towards the early morning hours, and without the benefit of daytime heating, it makes it even drier in terms of the impact this front would have. So some cloud cover coming through. Now, if that changes a little bit, it slows up and then it starts coming through towards midday on Sunday, we could see a few more showers along that system. But for now, this is how it appears that we have just a very nice weekend ahead. Now, the temperatures build a little bit tomorrow, so the humidity is going to come up a tiny bit tomorrow as well. And that's kind of because we're losing the winds. In fact, we saw through today more of a southeasterly flow. So losing that northerly flow, and we'll get those winds kind of flipping around a little bit. They're somewhat variable through the overnight tonight, but we get into more of a southwesterly flow until that cold front gets here. And with that, it brings up the dew points a little bit and gives us just a little bit of humidity coming back in. Overnight temperatures cool, just not as cool as last night. Almost down to 10, and London was down to 10 for tomorrow. Let's take it to 28 degrees and feeling like about 32. And then on Sunday, that slim chance of a shower. Not even really worth mentioning at this time. 25 degrees and into next week. We do have a slight chance of showers kind of every day, but it's looking pretty good, this 5-day forecast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching.